If one client disappeared tomorrow, would you feel it in your body? Not just in your spreadsheet, in your body. Because when 40% of your income comes from one source, you don't have stability. You have exposure. And exposure feels fine until it doesn't. I've been there. There was a stretch where one client represented a huge portion of revenue. They paid on time. They were happy. The relationship was strong. On paper, it looked efficient. High trust, high margin, low friction. But I started noticing something subtle. My decisions began orbiting them. Not dramatically, just slightly. I hesitated to challenge them. I prioritized their needs faster than others. I thought twice before pushing back. Not because they demanded it, because the revenue concentration changed the power dynamic. When one client controls too much of your income, they quietly control your posture. That's the hidden shift. Concentration risk isn't just financial, it's psychological. If losing one relationship would force emergency decisions, cutting expenses, scrambling for replacements, adjusting burn, you are structurally dependent. Even if the money feels strong right now, there's a difference between good revenue and balanced revenue. Good revenue is profitable. Balanced revenue is durable. When one client crosses 30–40% of total income, your system becomes fragile in a very specific way. You start optimizing around preservation instead of expansion. You avoid hard conversations. You delay necessary pivots. You build your capacity around their needs. And the business subtly narrows. I remember realizing that if this one contract ended, it wouldn't destroy the business, but it would destabilize it enough to force reactive decisions. That realization bothered me. Not because the client was unstable, because my structure was. If one departure would create urgency, your income is concentrated, not controlled. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Concentration often happens because it's easy. A great client expands scope. Retainers increase. Projects stack. Before you know it, one account carries a disproportionate share of your revenue. It feels efficient. It is efficient until it isn't. Because efficiency without distribution creates dependency. Dependency reduces leverage. And leverage is what scaling is supposed to increase. There are 3 layers to this problem. First, financial concentration. If one client is 40%, you need multiple new clients just to replace them. Second, emotional concentration. You think about them more. You worry about them more. You structure around them more. Third, strategic concentration. Your positioning starts reflecting their needs. Your team allocation reflects their priorities. Your product evolution bends toward their use case. Suddenly, you're not building a system. You're building around a contract. And that's a different game. The real risk isn't that they leave, it's that you stop building diversified acquisition because things feel comfortable. I've seen founders ride one large contract for 2 years, then panic when renewal terms shift. Not because the client was malicious, because concentration creates blind spots. Revenue concentration is quiet fragility. It doesn't feel fragile while it's working. It feels strong until it shifts. So, what's the right move? You don't fire the client. You don't sabotage a good relationship. You rebalance. When one client grows too large, your next strategic move should not be expanding them further. It should be diversifying elsewhere. Increase acquisition. Add new revenue streams. Cap expansion intentionally. I've done this deliberately before, choosing not to expand one high-paying account further because it would tip the balance too far. That felt counterintuitive, but it protected leverage. Because the goal isn't just maximizing revenue, it's maintaining negotiating power. If a client senses they represent too much of your business, the dynamic changes even subtly. You negotiate differently. You tolerate more. You internalize more risk. Balanced income restores calm. When no single client can destabilize you, conversations change. You can push back. You can enforce boundaries. You can say no. And that changes how you operate. Power in business is rarely loud. It's the quiet ability to lose a client without flinching. That's control. So how do you know you're exposed? Ask yourself, if they left tomorrow, would I need to cut burn? Would I need to rush acquisition? Would I feel immediate urgency? If the answer is yes, you have concentration risk. And concentration risk compounds the longer it goes unaddressed. Scaling isn't just about adding revenue. It's about distributing it. Because distributed income absorbs shock. Concentrated income amplifies it. There's nothing wrong with landing a large client. That's a milestone. But once they cross a certain percentage, the game changes. Now your job isn't maximizing them. It's balancing the structure around them. Early in business, you chase revenue. Later, you protect leverage. That shift is maturity. The strongest businesses don't just earn well. They're hard to destabilize. If 40% of your income sits in one relationship, you don't need panic. You need diversification. Because when no single client controls your outcome, you regain posture. You regain negotiating strength. You regain optionality. And optionality is what scaling is supposed to give you. Not silent dependency disguised as growth.